Dawson's Rentals.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here, coming at you today with our bigger King-Ohger reveal. We got our slew of scans with more detailed looks at all of the suits. I mean, obviously we saw the poster with the suits, but we got individual profiles, more clear looks at the weapon and the morpher, which are one and the same, and there's also a shield, which is also a weapon. You know what I mean? And then also the zords and the mecha and all that. You know, we got a little teaser of the mecha in the behind poster. I don't know, that's a weird way of saying it, but you know what I mean? Like behind the poster. There we go, not in the behind poster. That sounds, wait. Anyway. We got like a teaser of it, but now we have more of a breakdown of the individual mecha and the mecha itself. And let's start talking about that first, because that's where more of the new information is. The other stuff is kind of more detailed looks at things we've already gotten, which I will go over, and there's some more detailed character descriptions and plot summary as well. But talk about the mecha first. It's comprised, obviously, of your 5 main mecha, of course, of the main rangers, but then there is more mecha as well. There's all these little mini ones to make this bigger 10 mecha formation, which was in the rumors, and that seems to be confirmed now, which is cool, with 2 twin god Tentos, 2 twin god Kumos, and the lone god Ant, which is the one I recognize because I recognize the word ant. But you have those extra ones all joining the main 5 for one of these formations, which is really cool. Like I said, we get a look at the individual forms of them. You know, they look basically to be as expected. Nothing too, I would say, like outlandish or standout. Like they kind of look like almost generic. Like the individual look in particular of the core 5 kind of look very much in line with what I was saying when I was first reacting to the design of the Megazord, which was that like they look kind of like generic Transformer bots. Like not in a bad way. Like it's less Tokui and more normal, which is actually kind of just fine with me. But they look more generic. And it's especially funny though, because I'm thinking about like how the suits, the core Ranger suits, that is, have a lot of people saying, oh, they look like Kamen Riders, which honestly I don't feel they do. I feel people just feel obligated to say that because of the bug theme. But the Beetle Zord for Red Ranger definitely looks like, reminds me of like the B-Fighter stuff, because unless you go like really stylized, it's kind of hard to not look the same. Like honestly, every Beetle Zord we've gotten reminds me of Beetleborg's designs. So I did want to say that. But when it's all together, it overall looks pretty cool. Oh, and real quick, I just do want to say that out of the individual ones, I do quite like the butterfly one. I think that's the only one that stands out to me. I just kind of dig it. But anyway, back to the main mecha. I really dig the design of it. I think it's continuing the sort of more cool and balanced approach they took with Dawn Brothers, where it's not trying to be weird or wacky or strange, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of nice to just have a mecha that looks cool. If I could say I only had one problem with it, is it looks a little bit clashy color-wise, but I'm sure that's something that I'll get used to, and it's very minor. It's kind of just like when I look at it, something only seems slightly off. But for the most part, it's still a pretty cool-looking mecha. And from what the rumors are, it seems like we will probably get another articulated mecha toy for this, which is really exciting. So really cool stuff there. And then obviously we get a look at stuff we've already seen. You know, we get a more detailed look at the sword morpher, which, you know, it looks pretty cool. One thing I will say I really like about it is it looks like it has more of a natural looking handle, like it's a brown color. I'm sure the toy, it'll look kind of like toy poop. But I mean, I think what they might be going for is kind of making it look like more like a natural sword handle rather than a toy, which I think is cool. The rest of it honestly looks fine. It almost looks a little bit unfinished in the sense that like I can see all the mechanism and stuff, and it feels like they didn't finish designing the outward, like it's like the inside of a shell, if that makes any sense. It looks like we're seeing the inside and like the casings off of it. It almost looks like the inner workings of something. I don't know, it feels unfinished. It feels like one of those things where it feels like function over form in this case. Not that I dislike it, like I like it, and I like that it doesn't look too toy-like, just because sometimes it's cool for it to look a little more interesting. It's like right in the middle of like normal and toy-like. We do have a look at the shields, which I don't remember if those were in the posters. I don't remember seeing them in the posters, but the shields are pretty freaking cool. I like the way the shields look a lot. And like the individual ranger profiles show off like the different formations and ways the rangers use the weapons, like Purple using it, I think it's like a crossbow, which is pretty cool. I think that's overall pretty neat. And now, obviously, we get a better look at the suits. You know, as we get individual profiles, we get a ton of team shots. Honestly, I still like the suits. There's still a lot I like about them, but they looked so much better in the poster. The poster was like, damn, like Hollywood, boom, looked like a big budget movie poster, and then these look more like what you'd expect from a Toku series. They look like they're wearing Kingdom armor. They look significantly cheaper. Not all of them. I feel like yellow and purple or whatever the lighter color for purple is look still pretty good. But the other ones just look cheaper. I think especially blue I was disappointed in, because I really liked blue. My eyes were instantly drawn to that as one of my favorites from the original poster. And the shots of this one with blue look really cheap, and like the helmet looks washed out. I'm not black. I think holds up. It still looks cheaper, but I think it mostly holds up. Red's kind of weird because he almost looks like a different Ranger. Like I almost at first glance saw one of the first images where you see the helmet, and I thought it was something else entirely because, like in the poster, the way it's shot, it's kind of like farther away and almost from a slightly up angle, and it looks like the visor is almost more just a complete visor, but when you actually see the visor, it's kind of broken up as kind of like the silhouette or shadow, which I actually really like. I really dig the design of Red's visor when you look at it like that, but it just looked a little bit cooler in the poster, and like him and blue I think are the worst offenders, where their red and their blue look so candy-like. They look like M&Ms. And it's just, I still do like a lot about the suits and the armor aspect, and they have like these cool little insignias on their chests and stuff, but they feel like a downgrade from the posters, which looked so much more professional. I'm sure my thoughts and feelings on that will even out the more we see them and once we see them in the show and moving and all that stuff, but it definitely felt like you got catfished a little bit there with that, which was kind of disappointing. And before I get to the character descriptions too, it's still, as of this recording, unclear whether purple is male or female. Like the descriptions don't make any reference to it, and it's one of those ones where depending on the pose, you could see it going either way. It looks male to me, but I'm not sure. So at the moment, I'm, again, just not sure. But we got some more character descriptions in detail. Let's talk about them. I'll try to put like a picture up so you don't have to see my ugly face reading. So it begins with the Chikyu, not the Chikay, which I think were the villains from The Rook, and that might even be not how to pronounce that. Why am I talking about the book The Rook, which they did a boring Stars adaptation of? Anyway, I'm off book on this one. Speaking of books, let's start this whole thing over. King-Ohger begins with the Chikyu, which has 5 kingdoms. The leaders of each kingdom gather for thousands of years to protect their land, to become, obviously, King-Ohger. Powers granted by the king's weapon. So, individual descriptions. Kuwaga-Ohger is a self-proclaimed king brimming with fighting spirit. Please, God, no. No. No! His weapon form is a shield. Tonbo-Ohger, who I believe is blue, is extremely smart and extremely competitive. He uses the king's weapon in a gun form. Kamakiri-Ohger is a selfish queen, but with a face... Wait, she's a selfish queen, but with... I just read it as a selfish queen, but with a face. I'm like, oh, good, because the others didn't have faces. I was hoping one of them would have a face. Selfish queen, but will face danger to protect others. I can take danger. Look what I'm wearing. Komodo dog. Anyway, I'm getting off book again. Face danger to protect others, she uses it in the form of a scythe. Papillion-Ohger is calm-minded and unforgiving for evil. He'll probably say, that's unforgivable a lot. I'm willing to bet. Uses the weapon in a bow form. Hachi-Ohger is cheerful and unpredictable and uses the weapon as a claw. The claw. And then, of course, you have their zords, which are called the shoe gods, but like not to be confused with shoe like for your feet. When they all form together, they form the King-Ohger. Kind of like it's like King-Ohger and then the King-Ohger. It's almost like punny, and it's like the same name. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, the suits are looking a little cheaper to me, which is kind of disappointing. As far as the character descriptions, sounds pretty par for the course for the most part. Stuff like blue sounds like it might be kind of the serious, intelligent type. Red's worries me because it definitely sounds like that classic Toku Red character that I don't hate, I just don't like it at all, and it's terrible. I mean, to be fair, Dawn Brothers, I don't think that Momotaro was like that much of an eccentric Red, but he was still along that same line. And I just want something a little bit different. I feel like we still have 2 protagonists in a row that were kind of more of that eccentric Red. And arguably 3 if you had Kara Major, which actually I thought Kara Major handled it very well in a very different way, but still. And again, I'm not looking for like, I'm not like, oh, I'm a hardcore fan. Toku should be on HBO and I want a badass Red that's like, says bastard and stuff. I just want a normal person that doesn't shout word salad in our face. That's all I want. And it's just also because I just want it to feel different. I've said this before, I think I even said it in my last video, so I apologize repeating. But it's just like not even about me not liking the character, it's just, I just want them to have more different feeling characters. Like the self-proclaimed king thing could maybe go in the way that maybe he's like an overconfident douche or something, but like the energetic thing just, They always have such cool red costumes, and then it's always a twerp on the inside. Now I know how Team Rocket feels, always being bothered by these twerps. Reserve judgment for when we actually see it. I'm still excited because I like a lot about what this series is bringing with the themes and the suits, and just the fact that we're using a bug theme I think is really cool finally. I'm a little disappointed that we seem to got catfish with the suits a bit, wary of the character descriptions, but I'm eager to see more. Eager to get my hands on the toys when they come out, hoping for a kind of more cooler sounding toy voice. But what do you think? What are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell. See notifications for my videos. Awsama Writer, signing out.